Americans today are experiencing something that Chinese people experienced 50 years ago. Let me explain. Growing up, I would always hear stories from my parents about surviving the Cultural Revolution and the creation of Communist China. And one of the things that they would always tell me about that time, especially during the 60s, is that everybody was poor. No one had any sort of money, but at the very least, everybody was basically on the same level. They were at least all poor together. And on top of that, the new communist government would tell all of their citizens that, hey, maybe we're all poor right now, but don't even get us started on how bad the Americans have it. And it created this perception that maybe China was poor and down on their luck right now, but they weren't the only ones. That's something that the world was experiencing together, especially those of us in the West. But all of that changed in 1972 when President Nixon visited China for the very first time. And it marked a new era of China because they were finally reopening their doors to the world after being shut off from the world for decades. And what Chinese people realized once those doors opened was that they had been misled, that actually America was incredibly advanced, that everyone had TVs, everyone drove cars, everyone had land. And this was a far cry from anything they had heard directly from their government. I just can't help but feel like Americans are having that exact same moment right now. Like just a couple weeks ago when TikTok was about to be banned, a bunch of people went to Xiaohongshu, which is basically the Chinese version of Instagram, and they immediately saw, holy crap, China is actually incredibly advanced. They actually have infrastructure, they have trains, they have community green spaces, they have cities that make New York City look like a backwater town. And I think a lot of people saw that and realized, wow, like we've been misled by the American government. And I think even more people got the same wake-up call just recently when China released their DeepSeek AI model, which blew anything that OpenAI or Microsoft or Google have been doing out of the water. All of us in America for generations have been fed the same narrative. We've all been told that America is the best country in the world, Americans are the best people in the world, and nothing can compete with us. That is American exceptionalism at its core. And that line of propaganda has been so thoroughly disseminated within our culture, it's basically become the baseline assumption that America is the best. But here's the thing, you can't be exceptional if you don't actually try to stay exceptional. Rather than innovating and investing in engineering or science and doing the things that would actually make America exceptional and keep it exceptional, we've instead decided to just assume that that is the truth and stop trying. But for us as people, this should be a massive wake-up call because we are being left in the dust right now because our leaders and the billionaires who run this country are not incentivized, honestly, to make this country quote-unquote exceptional, or dare I say, to make America great again. They are specifically here to make themselves exceptional, to make themselves great. And if we actually want to get this massive train back on the right track, we all need to get to work, because if we don't, we're all going to be left behind. If you want to learn more about just how we can do that more specifically, check out theconsciouscitizens.org, which is an online community where we're sharing education and resources for collective liberation. It's free to sign up through the link in my bio, and also if you've been liking my videos, it's a great way to support my work for as little as $2 a month.